Mhm.
Wow, okay, I wanted to get to this topic, and I thought this would be the first and only thing we would talk about, but we had such a great conversation, like, I've almost completely forgotten to bring it up, and it was the initial reason why I wanted to get you on, Shad, and it was this very interesting story, that you posted on Twitter, about not even a month ago, just a few weeks ago, involving I don't know if I would even call him a friend of yours, or maybe you just were fellow streamers. Yeah, you referred to him as a longtime
Mm.
collaborator. Basically, can you give us a little bit of a context? I don't want to say like this guy tried to cancel you, but he basically did this thing which has happened to me so often in comedy over the last few years as I've sort of come out being a Trump supporter, being a January 6th, being against the vaccine, being against the mandates, right? Like over the years, you slough off friends and people who want to work with you and things like that. And so this is why it piqued my interest. You had this guy who you'd collaborated with, known for years, and suddenly he just wrote you off because he thought like what your views were too extreme. I don't know. He did
Mhm.
it in a very shitty way. I'm
He
gonna
did.
throw up this tweet. Okay, let me pull this up here. So this is this guy, Matt Easton. You
Mhm.
guys had done streams together. Oh, he was a peer in the sword community, of course.
Yeah, and, like, we were on friendly terms, we had disagreements, and, like, he's the type of guy that really does seem to resent when people disagree with him because he does like to present himself as an authority. He might say otherwise, but it's very clear, like, because he will always go out of his way to cite certain credentials that he has and stuff, and he likes to see himself as an authority. And he says things that are just flat out incorrect, multiple times. And like we've always had an exchange in the sword community to have a discussion about those things. I remember once he had a claim that kite shield, it was either wasn't used on horseback or wasn't used on foot. I forget which one, but it was used on both, and that was my response to him. And and I think the fact that the big difference we had was a definition of a thing called HEMA, which is historical European martial arts. And I did a video um, uh, basically strongly disagree with. He strongly disagreed with me, but I do feel like under the surface, behind the scenes, has always harbored a resent for the fact that I would challenge him on subjects, even though
Okay.
he would present um, a, a friendly kind of persona on the surface. And so now he has been saying that we were never friends to begin with. But so
Wow.
like when we had the collaboration where we met with all the sword tubers, he came up and gave me a hug. Like he was very happy to pose as being a friend because at the time it was beneficial for him to do so. Even though I've always sensed there was a bit of a resent under the surface there,
Because you
and
have a
so
bigger channel, and he thinks he can get something out of associating with you.
yeah, that it would be it was beneficial to him to have the association with me and to be on good terms. And look, I get that from a business kind of standpoint. Um, but I think it's showing more after the fact that he probably never really liked me.
Hmm.
It was just, and the fact that he was so easily willing to just brush me off, like if you actually had any positive feelings, not even just a friend, but if you were a good friendly associate, you would even still be hesitant to do that. And he just did not take much, concern trolling at all for him to decide that he'll cut all ties with me and brand me some really disgusting things. So yeah, revealed a
God,
bit about
and you
his
you write this long, very thoughtful
oh,
response.
I'm
Um
a long-winded guy.
Oh god, yeah. Dear community. It's like, dude. A
Yeah, there's a
and
lot
a
of
real friend would if they had actual concerns about something you've said or done, would message you privately and be like, "Hey,
well,
can
not
you
even
explain
just
this
a
to
real
me?"
friend, like, just a reasonable person. If you're gonna be, um, casting someone into the abyss of association, you would you would think that you would, want to be, like, have a good understanding of, what I've said and other things like that, before you go to do that. So even if, You know, he never considered me a friend, even though he pretended to be on friendly terms with me on the surface. Yeah, if he was just a reasonable, respectful person, he would want to understand the context of what I've said and the true implications of it, and also understand that for the reasons that, like, the things that he is saying that I've done, which makes me such a vile person to associate with, right? He should be very well aware that a good portion of his audience holds those same views. And
Right,
so
was
by
he
cutting me
he's
off,
anti-Christian? He thinks you're, like, too religious, he thinks you're
he
what, like,
claims
far
he
right?
claims to not be anti-Christian, but to be anti-me. You see, he has been saying in comments that he has no problem with conservatives or Christians. Um, but hang on, because that what like, he knew I was conservative and Christian, and what does he not understand what that implies about what we believe? More, and when I say believe, commonly believe, the commonly held Christian beliefs about, say, gender and marriage, and just on the surface level, right? Um, he should be able to figure that out. The implications are pretty obvious. But no, what's clear about this is that he has a problem with those that are outspoken and are hated for it, which actually, to me, is even vastly worse because it means that he's not standing on principle; he's standing to appease the mob, where he
Yes.
was okay to associate with me, knowing I was a conservative and Christian. But the fact that I'm outspoken and I receive backlash for being outspoken, he's now just trying to cover his own ass, basically, um, because he doesn't actually have an issue. Well, he claims to not have an issue with people who holds these beliefs. So then it's the fact that I'm outspoken and hated for it, which means he
Wow.
is just
You're just
allowing himself to
principled.
disassociate people based on how much they're hated
It's
by others.
so weak. It's so
It
weak
is
when
me,
you
yeah.
let the
Mm,
outrage mob, the woke minority, when you let them sit in the driver's seat of your own life, I mean,
mhm.
you have no control, you have no say over your own. Because if you're just led around, by the will of the mob, it's like, why be a content
Mhm.
creator?
Yeah.
Why does your
And
point of view even matter if you're just gonna
mhm,
bend to the outrage mob?
mhm. And he's tried to claim the opposite. He's given me no reason to think otherwise. He's even sent me some messages that was basically doubling down, trying to justify what he's done. And then he said something that I c- I didn't want to yell and make things worse, but what he tried to say legitimately just bothered me even more. And so he has shown no contrition or and the closest he said in another public post, he says that the mistakes were made on both sides. He won't acknowledge what his mistakes were, of course, um, and or anything like that. But then in these DMs, he tried to say that he doesn't think I'm a bad person. I'm like, oh,
So he tried to
really?
backtrack, he
Yeah,
tried to
in private, but he hasn't on public. Like he is still confirmed and doubled down in his statements in many a Facebook group and everything like that,
wow.
but in private. And so it came off as extremely two-faced. So much so that I couldn't even respond. And the fact that he might try and claim that has been trying to, um, uh, I guess,
Make up with
smooth
you.
things over with me was like, Sir, have you actually paid attention to what you've said? You've given me no reason." And I still have the hand of friendship extended to him, but the condition of that is that he needs to be willing to reach back publicly, right?
Right. He
And
has to
take it, which
nut
is
up.
yeah, exactly. If he wants to, because I will associate with anyone, barring like if they hold criminal views, like actual criminal views, right? Like I they can hold views I find offensive in the extreme, even evil, right? And there are opposing political views that I do consider flat out evil, right? But I'll that's actually not how I gauge if someone's a good person or not. The way that I gauge if someone's a good person is how they treat other people. And so I would ask him, how did I treat him when we met? And how has he seen me treat anyone in person directly, knowing that I know he has held views I find grossly offensive. Okay, I've been aware of him, and I'm seems to be a foreign lost thing to have the insight to understand the implications of what people's beliefs are. It's like
Right.
he should be able to figure out the implications of me being a devout Christian, right? But I that's pretty easy to figure out if you actually decide to pay attention a bit. and I will be friends and associate with him and other people. And because that's how you get along in society. And I can acknowledge that there are actually extremely good people on the left who hold vastly different views to me, even views I find offensive in the
Which
extreme.
is a
But
very adult way to be. I mean, that's how we used to
Mhm.
be. It's like you didn't have to
Shocking.
disavow an
Hmm.
entire person because you didn't agree on 1 or 2 things.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
like, your view is how things used to be. Most adults were like, "Yeah, we get along, but we don't talk about politics. Yeah, we get
Mhm.
along, but we don't get into religion." And, it's just unfortunate that it's like, well, you disagree on this one thing, cancel
Yeah.
the
And
whole relationship.
he has never said the specifics of what I have said that have offended him so deeply that I am now so vile a person to not associate with. Um, and I think he's not pointing them out because that would also mean every one of his viewers that hold those same beliefs, he thinks the same thing. And so
You know
he
what
is
it also
being.
says too? It's like, does he even genuinely feel the way he does? Or
Mhm,
did he just react this way because he got so much blowback after coming for
mhm,
you? You know, did your fans just make so much noise, or did they kind of were they
mhm,
turned off by this behavior from him, that that is what's making him,
yeah.
change his behavior?
Well, the other side, the other implication or possibility of him, the reason why he is not stating the specifics of what he finds so offensive is, I wonder if he even understands them. Like I've seen people that he has been interacting with miss like say horrible things about what I supposedly have said, and they're complete bullcrap. And it's like, all right, say it, say it. Do you have the balls to actually say the claim of what I believe, and then I'll hold you to account to see if you're being honest or not. Because
Right.
one of the bullcrap things people claim I have said, which is just completely, absolutely bullcrap. They claim that I have said that I think gay people are repulsive, which is absolute bullcrap. What I said specifically, and I find this hilarious that people can even take issue with this, is that I, as a straight man, find men unattractive. And as a result, when
How
I see
dare you?
how dare I, right? So as a result, when I see men engage in sexual activity because I'm unattracted to men, I am repulsed by that. And it shouldn't be a controversial thing for me as a straight man to say that I find gay sex repulsive. Okay? I I am
Right,
I
just
not
like not
allowed?
everyone is into, a Cleveland steamer. Not everyone is into BDSM. Not like, it's
Yes.
okay to have a preference.
Exactly. But people have taken that to say that I think homosexual people across the board are therefore repulsive, and that is absolute bull crap. And but that's the level because they like for some reason they are so hell bent and drowned in this ideology that even something as tepid as saying I'm a straight man and therefore I'm not attracted to men, and like even when I see a guy and girl kiss, I'm not looking at the guy, all right? Like I and because I don't like visualizing that I would be kissing a guy. I don't know. Guys imprint. We talked about this. They imprint that they are the guy kissing the girl, right? And so it's like, how is this controversial? Yet that is beyond the pale, and people have then taken that, and because they actually can't engage honestly with because they know it's true, right? They then have to vilify it to the extreme because if they engage with you honestly, they would obviously fail because they would be in the wrong. It's such a basic truth
Right.
that
They'd
gay
have to
people are
purposely
entitled. Yeah,
misunderstand you so that
exactly.
they can be right.
Exactly. Gay people are perfectly entitled to find, people of the same sex attractive, right? And would they complain if a gay guy said, I find watching women kiss repulsive? Would they ever complain? Dare have the balls to complain about that? But
Gay guys
exactly, you're right.
complain that a certain type of gay guy will be repulsed at just even the sight of a woman. The fact that they exist pisses them off, but it's like, no one's calling out those dudes.
Oh, exactly. Because yeah, people are entitled to their preference. That's the reality. And so if they engage with it honestly, there's no fault to find. But because there is a desperate push to change the perception of human relationships and things in society and stuff, that no, 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 they can't even um, engage honestly, and my position has to be vilified. And so they take it to the extreme and try and make out that I'm a homophobe, which is the most bullcrap statement that you could ever have, especially if you know me personally and how I treat other people. All right. And so I
Yeah.
wonder if he believes that, which is complete bullcrap. And there are like two other, similar things that people love to try and vilify and take out of context and stuff. Like that I'm against concepts of sexuality and stuff like that in children's media because young children, they're not sexual beings. They shouldn't even be on their radar. All right. Um, and so it's not appropriate to have that in
Yeah, just
children's
like they
media.
shouldn't know how to change a flat tire, just like they
Yeah.
shouldn't
Yeah.
know how to pay taxes. It's just like, it's not for
Well,
them.
yeah, and young children should not understand the birds and the bees until it comes up naturally because children grow up, they develop, and these questions will arise by the normal course of events. And there is a reality when children are aware of the concepts of sexuality and stuff far earlier than they are, you know, naturally inclined to have those questions, everything. It literally, actually, the only result is that there's a higher chance for them to engage because they know what to do and how to do it at a younger age. And that's why
Right.
Christians like me criticize introducing concepts of sexuality to children at a younger age as grooming. It's like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
children are not sexual beings. Stop putting this in front of their
You're
faces.
literally prepping them to be sexual. Like, that's
Yes,
no
yes,
matter what way that works, whether it's hetero or homosexual, it's like you're preparing them to be
yeah.
sexual
I
earlier
mean,
than they would have naturally,
yes,
organically been inclined to.
and it's taking the role away from the parents. It's the right of the parents to choose when these things should be introduced to their kids. And when Disney comes along and says, "No, no, no, you parents don't know when your children. In fact, your children need to learn about this at the age we determine. So we are going to
Yeah.
introduce your children to periods and homosexuality and just sexual kind of interactions and
Butt
concepts
stuff.
at an age like where and it's like think about it, like as soon as a child you know because children as the default understands the normal human sexual biological expression, men and women, that's the default. It's not even needs to be introduced for them to understand that. Okay. And by the way, the LGBT community understands that that's the default. Otherwise, why would they need to show anything outside of that? They want to show it because they understand that children don't understand that naturally. Okay. And they want to introduce it at a much earlier age outside of when the parents want to talk about these things with the kids. That's why it's inappropriate. It's not that it's inappropriate to have gay characters. I've never complained that
Right.
Gandalf was gay. Oh, sorry, not Gandalf. Dumbledore. All right. Okay. It's specifically the expression that
And
is
it
trying
wasn't a
to
focal
introduce
point
things.
of his personality.
Yes.
It wasn't like
Exactly.
he was
Exactly.
constantly, like, flipping through Grinder. He wasn't, like,
Yeah.
doing poppers in the bathroom. It just wasn't, like,
Mm.
part of his deal.
And in actual fact, like the sexual identity of some characters have been really crucial in some great story. House of the Dragon is a gay character that is crucial in this story and is a brilliant character. One of my favorite gay characters is Captain Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's absolutely friggin' hilarious. I love him and stuff. And so anyone who claims that I have an issue with gay characters in media is a bloody friggin' lying hypocrite. But that's what they want to take from that. They want to try and they take it to the extreme vilification that I have an issue with ideas of sexuality and sexual identity and stuff introduced to children when they are way not even prepared to even consider these concepts yet. And by introducing it, it gives a higher likelihood that they're going to explore those things. And that's the concern. The concern is they're trying to do it to encourage kids to explore these things at a much earlier age. Hence why we criticize it as grooming. And then they try and take this reasonable, basic understanding thing that shouldn't be hard to figure out. And they vilify it to the extreme and say Shad believes that all LGBT people are trying to groom children. And it's like, do you understand? Do you understand that there are heaps of LGBT people that agree with me on this issue? Like
Mhm.
it's never been about us versus them, straight versus gay, or anything like that. No, it's about principles about what is appropriate for children or not. And there's a lot of gay people that completely agree with me on that issue, but they can't engage honestly. And so then they say that these horrible things that I'm a vicious, vile, homophobic thing, and they take to the extreme. And those are the things that I bet was told to Matt, right? That Shad believes all gay people are repulsive and that they all want to groom people. All this bull crap, vilified, just lies about my positions. When I could have just sat down and said, "Do you want to hear what my actual opinions are? Let me explain it to you."
Right.
And when you hear them, it's like if they have an issue with these positions, that's concerning on them, not me. I was like, hang on, do you have a problem with that the fact that straight people aren't attracted to the same sex? Like, do you actually have an issue that I'm not attracted to men? Is that your problem, right? Because that's revealing
Be attracted to me,
something.
Shad. God damn it.
Yeah, like what is that saying about you there, mate? And of course,
Yeah.
like you've probably seen my statements on Twitter about the pronoun thing, where anyone can believe what they want. You're entitled to that belief. I draw the line when you want to force that belief onto others by compelled speech. It's like, no, 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 you're not allowed to do that. I don't do that to you. I have religion, or absolute full-on religious practices that guide the way I speak, like taking the name of Jesus Christ in vain, the way I look at, other people in the world as brothers and sisters, that we're all children of God. Okay. There are so many aspects of my behavior that's informed by my religion, which forms a part of my identity, that I would never think of enforcing on other people for the sake of my offense. And they have no idea how offensive I find it when the name of the Lord is taken in vain, because of how sacred that Jesus Christ is to me, right? They don't care about what offends me. And look, like, I
Mhm.
wouldn't force them to change their behavior either. I'll never impose it forcefully on other. But that's what they're trying to do to me. They're trying to force me to acknowledge by expression their belief, which I don't hold. And that's authoritarian. It's like, no, you don't know that. But suddenly, like if you even say something as simple and basic as that, you are a
A
fascist, and you're calling
transphobe,
me a
all the
fascist and all the
things.
crap. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
Love you guys. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the comments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. All right. Love you guys. God, I don't even want to leave. This candle smells so good. I don't want to leave. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Love you all. Join the Discord. Feet. Love you all. Wow. You guys are awesome. Love you, get it. Bye, guys. Bye. Now I'm really leaving. Love you. Bye.